Hi everyone, just a short introduction today to the use of the Ecological Inventory Assessment Form. It will allow you to analyze different activities and opportunities for students with significant disabilities and will lead you in the direction you need to go in order to make the kinds of adaptations and accommodations they might need. There are only 5 basic parts to this assessment tool, and they're really simple once you get the hang of them. The first one is the actual ecological inventory, and that's going to simply be a step-by-step task analysis. So when we look at a specific activity that's taking place in a classroom or in the community or at a job site, for example, all we're going to do is take a look at what are the steps that a typical person would do in order to do that activity. We're not thinking about the student with disabilities at this point. We're simply looking at what would the average person do in order to do this activity. The next point that we look at are what are the natural cues involved in each one of those steps. So we have a step here. Are there things in the environment that are already there that tell us how to do that step? For example, when you walk into a Target store, how do you know where the carts are? How do you know where the front door is? What are those cues that you take for granted that might help us work with a student with significant disabilities if we point it out to them? The next part is simply the assessment, which you're going to go through for each one of these steps, and you're going to determine whether or not the student can do them. A simple plus or minus will do. If they can do it independently, they get a plus. And if they can't perform it, don't perform it, or you have to give them cues, then that's going to be a minus for that step. The next part is going to be the discrepancy analysis. And boy, this one is really, really important because for each one of these steps that they are not able to do, you're going to need to flesh out why they can't do that step. Unless you answer why, you will not be able to figure out how to adapt or teach, or you'll do something and it won't hit the mark. So when you look at why a student can't do a specific step, why can't they do that, you're going to answer such things as they can't remember the step, or they're not focused enough on the step, or they're distracted by people in the environment. So you can understand that each one of those answers are very different answers in how we would address it instructionally. A memory issue versus a distractibility issue are very different things when it comes to adapting and instructing. And finally, what are the adaptations and cues and instructional strategies we're going to use to teach that one step that that student can't do? So these first 2 tools, first 2 sections, are simply a task analysis. They have nothing to do with the student with disabilities. This next piece is our actual assessment. The 4th piece is the discrepancy, why they're unable to do it, and unless we answer that question, we don't know what to do about it. That's it. That's the basic overall of the Ecological Inventory Assessment Form, and we'll continue on the next installment.